Hello, my name is Nicole Hall, and my presentation is on theorist Jean Piaget. He was a Swiss psychologist born in Neuchâtel, Switzerland in 1896, and he died in September of 1980 in Geneva, Switzerland. Jean Piaget actually gained his PhD in natural science before he became interested in psychoanalysis. And in his interest in psychoanalysis, he studied at the University of Zurich, and he studied under Carl Jung, which is also a very known theorist. In Piaget's theory concerning cognitive developmental psychology concerning children, his idea is that children have a strikingly different cognitive development than adults. Very different. It's not the same. We all have heard the saying, children are like adults, little people or little grown people, but they're not. They actually have their own human knowledge or human development in their thinking process. Very different from us. In this particular theory, Piaget goes on to say children are born with a very basic mental structure, which is genetically inherited, and it evolves around learning and knowledge. That's the foundation, and it's in a process of time, and actually in a particular order. Piaget's theory concerning cognitive development is not his only theory. He has a collective theories, and his collective theories are called Piaget's genetic epistemology. Also connected to the developmental psychology theory are three components. Number one is schemas, which build blocks of knowledge, and I am looking at my notes. Two is processes that enables the transition from one stage to another. This includes the equilibrium, assimilation, and accommodation. Now, with equilibrium, that's a force that forces or moves the developmental process, and then you come into your assimilation and accommodation. Next, we have the stages of development, which is very known, especially to those of us who have taken psychology or major in psychology, or even taken it in, I remember it also in high school. But you have your stages of development. You have the sensory motor, which is birth to age 2. That includes sucking, grabbing, and pushing. They become familiar with their surrounding, their world with movement, and then you have your senses and object permanence. And in object permanence, we have it's a saying that they say in the world, out of sight, out of mind. But in an infant's intellect, you still there. For example, in the little game Peekaboo, Peekaboo, we do that with our babies, and they laugh and they giggle. But are they actually laughing and giggling because one minute we're there and the next minute we're not in our eyes? But in their eyes, we still exist. We still are there. We're still present, or our face is still present. So even when we're leaving from in front of them, we still exist. Sounds strange, but it's the truth. It's like as if our presence is still there. Furthermore, you have the preoperational stage, and this is from ages 2 to 7. And in this, we look at egocentrism, where the child is more self-centered, or it's all about me, my, and they self-oriented. They haven't gained a sense of, seeing things in a different point of view, or in a different way. Next, you have concrete operations, which is 7 to 11. And there they develop a skill called problem solving. And most children at this particular age can do math mentally. Finally, you have the formal operations, which is 11 to 15. And now the cognition or the cognitive process is a little more structured, and it becomes similar, or it became similar to adults. The contribution today pertaining to this particular theory is actually currently been being studied in psychology, of course, sociology. I was surprised to see economics and law, education, which is um, the main place that is being used right now today, and also genetics. Um, it's used now for the understanding and the communicating with children, especially, like I said, in the field of education or discovery learning, where the children are discovering, their surrounding and their environment. Furthermore, this is actually one of my favorite theorists, Jean Piaget. His theories are, you know, in my eyes, they're pretty valid. But there are other theories that also have theorists, that also have studied this. But anyway, I'm going to end this, and I'll end it by naming my references. One of them is the Time Magazine 100 by Jean Piaget. The other one is the Indiana University biography on Jean Piaget, and a book by Jean Piaget called The Moral Judgment of the Child. And that's all I have. Thank you. Bye bye.